Hello, everyone. Checking that we're live. Again, there's a slight delay here. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're tuning in again, then welcome back. Today, we are going to cover skill files once I know that we're actually live here. View channel, live. There we are. Okay. So today we're covering skill files. I want to tell you all about skill files because I have noticed that on the internet, there are people that are selling skill files as if they are agents. And we need to correct this because skill files are absolutely not agents. They're very different. They work together, but they are not the same. So if somebody is trying to sell you skill files as if they are agents, that is not true. And I'm going to walk you through everything that skill files are, how they work with agents, everything you need to know about that, what is in my skill file library, and how those can be used to train your agents, and basically everything here. So we're going to start with what are Claude AI skill files. Skill files are relevant to Claude, but these kind of things can be used across multiple different platforms. So it's the same kind of idea as when we were building custom GPTs when ChatGPT was cool. Now it's into skill files. They're similar, but not quite the same. They can be repurposed over, transferred over, just not quite the same. Next, we're going to go into agents versus skills. So what an agent really is and how it's different from Claude skills. Then we're going to give you a Claude skill file library tour. So what's inside my skill file library and where you can get a copy if you want to. And then I also have a free diagnostic for you to take so you can decide where you should even start integrating AI first, which leads to the next part. There are 3 levels of AI integration. I go through this every single time because it's really important to understand where you are and where you are going. So level 1 is if you are comfortable talking to ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, all of those, whatever the platform is, but you are still doing things manually. So if you are at level 1, you're saying things like, I'm using it to brainstorm. I'm using it as a sparring partner. I'm using it to edit my emails, proofread for me, help me come up with some ideas, that kind of stuff. That is level 1 AI use. Level 2 is when AI is embedded into your automations using tools like Zapier. You have to remove Relay because unfortunately they went down. As of like this week, I had to switch over a bunch of my automations directly into Claude. So honestly, it works better this way, but that is level 2. So it's like you're using the traditional logic tree kind of automations, but there are AI steps within it. So there's Zapier, there are Google Flows, lots of different options for that kind of level 2 usage. Level 3 is when you have an agentic team, and that is going to trigger based on conditions. It is proactive, it is reactive, it's completing work for you in the spaces that you work, and you can delegate to it, and it runs truly autonomously. So that is the level that we want to get you up to. If you're watching the replay, then tell me what level you're at right now and where you would like to be over the next few weeks and months, and what that looks like for you, because it's really important to know where we are going. If you are new here, hey, quickly, I'm Jill Wise. I lead and build growth strategy that includes AI systems, but it is not only AI systems. So I do a lot of brand strategy, direction, growth marketing and distribution, automated sales funnels, and then the agentic support layer throughout all of it so that we can start to automate the busy work, make it so that it doesn't suck, and empower your team to make more impact with the resources that you have. So AI is just one small layer that everybody's really interested in right now, but there's so much more that goes into choosing where you even need AI in the first place when we are looking at your growth strategy. So what are agents even, and how are they different from skills? Agents, like I mentioned in level 3, AI integration, they work independently to produce an output for you. They trigger when certain conditions are met, and they use their skills to complete work in your workspaces. Skills, on the other hand, are the specializations that your agents have. So these can include workflows, preferences, parameters, style guides, examples, anything like that. But they are very different. It's kind of like, let's swipe that away. I'm going to open this up and draw in here. I love to draw in my slides, and I have to go back and delete everything when we're getting ready for the next week. So if we look at your agents as if this is the human, where's my tools? Agents are like the little person. Hey. Their skills are like their fancy pieces of paper. Like I have up on my wall behind me. Those are like, I know what I'm doing because I've collected all these fancy pieces of paper. So you can give your agents skills, and agents can have access to multiple skills. My agents have access to multiple skills depending on what they are doing, what their goals are, what their role is within the entire orchestration of my agentic ecosystem, really. Which is a lot of buzzwords for saying that my agents have access to certain skills. Some of them are using multiple skills, some of them are only using one or a couple skills, but they are not the same. And your agents can kind of collect skills. I have this theory that in the next few years, especially in the corporate world, that people are going to be hired based on their agentic teams and all of the skills that they have. So let's say this one agent has like 5 skills and you're going to be applying for a job and you're going to be like, yeah, but I come with X agents and these are all the skills that they have and I've refined their outputs based on that. So that's my theory there. You can quote me on that if it actually happens. So that is kind of the difference between skills and agents. Now let's talk about, the way that they work together within the 5-layer framework that I teach inside my programs and that I implement for clients as well. So with the 5-layer framework, first we need the brain. This is your context. This is a brain. That's a very poor drawing of a brain, but your brain is where all of your information lives, all of the way that you like things done, who your clients are, what your offers are, what your messaging is, your positioning, your strategy, all of the details about your business, that is your brain. And you need to constantly be feeding your brain so it gets smarter. Honestly, one of the things that I even do to feed my brain outside of like client work and the people that I'm working with and my actual work that I'm doing is I even have a skill where my agents can help me write book reports on every nonfiction book that I'm writing or reading so that I can have those relevant points that I want to remember also fresh for my agents to remember. So I'll finish a book. Behind me, lots of books. I'll finish a book and I'll be like, help me write a book report on this. Here's some takeaways that I have. It'll help spin that up and it'll add it into my brain. And the reason why this is cool is because obviously what I'm reading is influencing the content I'm creating. And by documenting even these details in the brain, then my agents have access to that too. They can see where influence is coming from when I'm creating my content, when I am working on client work, because I'm constantly learning and adding not only to my brain, but my agent's brain, which leads to the next layer of agents. So after you have your brain built, you always start building your brain, then you can build agents. When you are building your agents, I like to build mine in Claude Code specifically. That seems to work the best for how my business works and how many clients do. I know there's many different options. I think that Claude Code and Claude specifically, like the whole desktop UI, is very easy to navigate. And so even if you're not super techie, building Claude agents is way easier than doing something like OpenClaw. We're a little bit more nuanced. So that's why I like to build in Claude specifically. So a lot of what I'm teaching is relevant to Claude, but these principles can be applied over and over again across all different platforms. It's really just like, how can we take the same frameworks and apply them in new ways? When you are building your agents, you need to pay attention to what they are producing. What do you actually want them to do? What does that look like? What does success look like? Do you have KPIs for them? That's KPIs. Then when you are seeing what your agents are going to produce, you need to know how they're going to communicate that production to you and how you are going to communicate with them what you even want done. There are many different ways that you can communicate with your agents. Some set up different Telegram conversations. I talk to mine in Slack a lot of the time, but also the most efficient way I think that I found to communicate with my agents is actually just in my project management tool. Right, PM. Here, project management tool. I like to use Notion for mine. I also build for clients in ClickUp. So it's really like, where do you want to manage your projects? That seems to make the most sense for how you're going to communicate with your agents as well, when you want to be able to delegate to them without you having to actually go into Claude directly and say, hey, do this for me, because we're talking level 3 AI integration where you can actually delegate to them, not where you have to go in and talk to them manually. So when you are communicating with them in a place like Notion or ClickUp, then you are really just like collaborating with them like you would a team member. So that could include creating tasks for them directly in your project management tool, leaving comments for them, notes, status updates, all of that kind of thing counts as communication. Then the final layer is improvement. So how are your agents going to get better over time? Maybe they start at 50% accuracy with their outputs. That is a great place to start. If you are minimizing your work by half so that you can focus on the better parts, great. We also want to get it up to 70, 80, and 90% so that it is obviously like taking more and more off your plate so that you can make more of an impact and focus on the work that really matters. So this is the framework that we follow every time we are building anything. However, part of the brain and your agents, they need skills. That's really what this is. So if we look at what a skill file is, here's an example of it. I literally pasted this from my skill file library. Oops, that's not what we're looking at. My tablet's changed screens. So this is what we're looking at for a skill file. This is actually like a really long document. I think this one is multiple pages long. It has very specific details about what it is. You'll see the name here. You'll see the description of what it does. You'll see what it triggers on and the keywords that it's pulling. It's got many different keywords in here that it recognizes as, oh, this is my turn to use this specific skill. So for this example here, this is my call extract skill. This one is doing multiple different things for me. It is first, the agent is my transcript watcher agent. I'm going to write that down for you. Transcript watcher. My transcript watcher agent has many skills. It has this call extract. It has VOC extract. And it has all the skills that help with like deliverables, marketing. It can access any of them and outputs. So my transcript watcher agent, this specific skill that we're looking at, which is really just a file of instructions, it has access to all these different skills. So it's not just looking at this one call extract. Just like we said before, the agents can have access to multiple skills. It knows, my transcript watcher agent knows to pick up this specific skill when these keywords are met. When I'm talking about this kind of work, then it's like, oh, Jill wants me to use these skills. In the case of the transcript watcher agent, this one's actually automated. So it is scanning my inbox throughout the day for transcripts that are ready from client calls, group calls within Leverage Lab, and sales calls, anything like that. It picks up literally any call. It knows whether it's a client call, whether it's a sales call, and whether it's just like a coffee chat, something like that. And it can help choose which of these skills is relevant to use at this time. So first of all, though, the call extract skill is where it's going to actually extract the to-dos from it and add those to my project management tool. I'm going to make another page here so we can write that down. So call extract is pulls to-dos, triages those. Oh, we don't need all that. Assigns those tasks either to me or to itself in a different run, because I don't want my agents taking action on things that are going to use a lot of power during typical work hours. It does a lot of that work overnight instead to be a lot more efficient so that we're not just blowing through token usage all the time. So it's pulling all of this stuff out, and it's really helping me get organized. So if you are in a service-based business, then you know that after every single call, there's a lot of extra work that needs to happen. I used to maybe have I like to do this still. I have back-to-back calls all the time. I might have anywhere between 2 and 5, sometimes 6 calls in a day, just because I pile them all onto the same day. However, after those calls, each one of them creates work. I need to know what the to-dos are for myself and clients. I need to know when those need to happen by. I need to assign them to the right people. All of that needs to happen. With this call extract skill, my transcript watcher agent knows how to pull all of those to-dos out for me and put them in the right places. So this saves me a lot of time. And then from there, because it's assigning all of these to itself, if it's something that's like generate a proposal, it'll do that immediately because it has access to the proposal generator skill. It's not the only one who can use the proposal generator skill, but it does have access to that skill. So this is what a skill file looks like. It's really just a big old file with all of these instructions, and hopefully this explains how they're different than agents, because agents have access to these skills, not that they are the same. So when we look at my Claude AI skill file library, I've actually made some of my favorite, like my top 10, I'd say, skills available to anyone recently. Like, I think I decided this last week that I was going to make them available to anyone. So these historically were just a bonus for those inside Leverage Lab, and for clients I was customizing. If I had something off the shelf, I would give it to them, or it was building custom skills. And I was like, you know what, why don't we just let everybody else have access to this bonus as well, to help you get started at least somewhere. And maybe you don't need the full support, but this is something that will help you get started and understand how important skills are. So when you grab my AI skill file library, you're going to land at a dashboard that looks like this. And then you can see there's the skill template library in there. Not all of these are going to be relevant to you, but across the 10, I bet you at least half are. And if they are, then that is like a no-brainer to use. Not just because of the skills themselves, but because then you can see how skill files should be created. And you can use this to help train your Claude as well, to make it specific to your business. The thing that I like the most about these skills and how I've built them, which when I figured this out, I was like, this is so exciting. I can literally drop something of my business into your business. And instead of me having to walk you through the setup, I've designed these skills files so that Claude helps you customize them. So I've basically built an onboarding wizard into every single one of these skill files, so that you literally download the file, drop it into a new session with Claude, and it has those instructions built in. It will know how to help you set it up. So it will ask for your business context that maybe you don't have yet. It'll help you connect the correct connectors for the skill to work. It will ask you for your preferences. It has a very specific interview process to help you set these up. You'll see in here too that there is the call extract one in here. My daily briefing one is my kind of like my orchestrator agent now, because I have grown my own daily briefing from what is in here to have access to literally everything. So instead of it just seeing what's on my calendar and my to-do list and helping me prioritize to-dos, my daily briefing agent personally, I have built it to be a lot more of an orchestrator across the entire business, giving me updates on everything. All of my agents are feeding up into my daily briefing agent, which has access to the daily briefing skill. So that's the difference here. This is still not an agent, it's a skill file, but it is used by my orchestrator agent that has even more built in. And you can build that out too, just by customizing these to fit your business. Daily sales, this is one to give to a sales agent. So I have one that is telling me status updates on my pipeline. It goes through my Gmail and my calendar, and it helps me decide what my daily sales actions are, because I am all about focusing on either sales and serving every single day. You need to do this. If you are a business, you absolutely need to do this in order to keep your pipeline full and keep clients happy. So the daily sales one definitely helps with doing that. So that can be customized for your business too, and what your inputs are. Then there is the marketing OS. So I actually love this one. This is one of the biggest systems original big systems that I built, and it still helps me every single day. I want this circle to be perfect in here. It's not perfect. There we go. No, still not perfect. So the marketing OS is honestly like a full-on system. It's not just a single skill. There are multiple different skills in here to feed into multiple different sub-agents. So this one is going to help you create and strategize your marketing content across your core channels for the week. I have mine help me with writing my emails. If you're on my email list, or if you're not yet, you should be, but if you're on my email list, people are shocked when they realize that AI helps me with my emails. This is the foundation of it. This one alone is like definitely worth the value of the entire skill file library. It's massive. It is one of my pride and joys. We also have a proposal builder in here. This is based off of my proposal template and process that has closed 5-figure deals for years now that have led to like 6-figure clients. So that one is definitely a good one to feed into any of your agents. Skeptical Sally is my buyer psych trained editor. So anything that goes through Marketing OS, Skeptical Sally is also built into this, but you can use it standalone too. I like using it standalone when I've created something on my own, on the fly, separate from just the standard typical weekly content. I love Skeptical Sally. That one is very helpful. SOPs on demand. So this is a skill to help your agents help you make more SOPs. So if you have ever thought, oh, like I need to document this, if you're one of those people that everything lives in your head, which most founders are, and you need to start getting in the process of pulling all of that information out, turning it into proper SOPs that your team can use it and your AI agents can use it, you absolutely need that SOP on demand. Also have the VOC extractor. So this one feeds into the marketing OS. It feeds into your strategy, your positioning, any marketing content. It is pulling voice of customer data. So if you have worked in any kind of marketing world, then you know that voice of customer data is so important. I started working in the online space as a copywriter before I built my marketing agency, and VOC used to take us hours for every single project, hours, because we would line up interviews with my clients. I was doing them at first, then my team was doing them. We were recording them, getting ready for them, then going through hundreds of pages of those transcripts and extracting the sticky themes throughout so that we could use that to write good marketing copy. So the VOC extractor does that in minutes from every single transcript. And if we take it back a step, I was talking about my transcript watcher agent also has access to this. So at the same time as pulling my to-dos, doing all of these extra bits and pieces, it is also using the VOC extract skill and adding into my messaging library, my database, so that when I am going to create a new offer, I can reference that. When I'm going to write new copy or come up with a new angle, I can reference that. My agents can reference that. We can pull the exact language that clients and leads are using with this skill. So this one is so valuable. Then we have the weekly content planner. So this one is just, maybe you don't want to hand off all of your content to agents to do in the marketing OS, but you want some help with your planning your content. That's what this one is for. Then we have the weekly health check. And this one is so important because it's the one that helps us go from that 50 up to like that 90%. So it is going to help you scan all of your skills and all of your systems to see what that health is and help you recalibrate so that you can back up your skill files and make sure that if Anthropic were to go down tomorrow, it is all working as it should. So that one is definitely important to have in here as well. So that is what is in the skill file library. If you have any questions about it, please let me know. I thought we put in, we're so silly. We did not put in the actual link in here. So check, I'm gonna put this, check the description. Oh, that's not working. That's not working. Okay, we're gonna delete this, delete. We're going to take some text. Control C. We're building these slides live here, guys. Check the description. The link to grab. Skill file library. That's where the most up-to-date link will be. I am pretty sure it's already in the description. I think that's already in there. And if it ever changes in the future, if you're watching this back later, then we got you. We can sort that out. Then, if you actually want to build with me, we're already thinking ahead into the next cohort of Leverage Lab. There are already people who are on the list for the next one, so that's really cool. We are going to get started in October at the end of the month. If you enroll early, there is a very fun and early bird enrollment bonus where you get a one-on-one session with me to be used before our start date. So if you maybe grab the skill file library and you want help customizing it before we even get into building your own custom agentic systems inside the lab, that's the perfect use case for this. So Leverage Lab is my group program where we stop spending money on all of the tools, all of these AI tools you see online, and you actually build the thing that lives underneath them. So we focus on the foundations of your business infrastructure in the form of a business second brain, your operating instructions, all of those details that allow you to build custom AI systems on top of it that run without you. So by the end of 8 weeks, you're going to leave with something that's actually working and then a repeatable path to build the next one. I hold your hand through the process. It's kind of like choose your own adventure, because everybody inside is building different skills, different systems, different agents, but we're all following that same framework that you learned at the beginning. And I'm holding your hand through all of it. I give you my tools, my templates, all that kind of stuff. So how it works is that you join a private Slack community for asynchronous support. This works really well across time zones, busy business owners, my own schedule. We have a lot of async communication in Slack. You also get access to my learning dashboard. That's where your weekly to-dos drop. Those resources include a mix of videos, screen share tutorials, cheat sheets, templates, a use case database, and agentic skill files for Claude AI. So all of these skill files that you just saw, plus more, are in Leverage Lab itself. The use case database, I need to stop and highlight this for a second. I love this one because this is where you get to see what's possible for you. So I have agents inside my Slack channels and on my calls with the transcript watcher, and they are pulling out different use cases that clients are saying that they have built with Claude within the program, so that you can see not only what people are building in your own cohort, but in previous cohorts as examples, because so much of AI is just experimenting and seeing what worked for other people and borrowing across industries. And that is most of the value from a group like this. Like, there's one thing from learning from me and me giving you the templates and the tools, but also seeing how a business around the world, because it is a global community, seeing how they're doing something will just inspire you in so many different ways. We do live sessions, Q&A calls. Some weeks have homework submissions for personalized feedback. Some weeks are a little bit more like choose your own adventure style. And there is also the option to upgrade to VIP, where you get a mix of done-for-you support as well, where I'm actually creating your system plans for you to hand off to Claude so that it's even easier for you. So just like the skill files have their built-in wizard, like I try to make it as easy as possible for you. So if you are interested in that, you can go check out digitalwise.com/leverage, and you can grab your seat in the upcoming cohort early, and then you can get that extra one-on-one bonus as well. So hopefully this cleared up what skill files are and how they're different from agents. And of course, you can go and grab my skill file library if you want to, but knowing that these are meant to train your agents. And regardless of what skills you are getting, whether they're mine or somebody else's, these are not agents. They are the things that you use to train your agents. So hopefully that helped you with that understanding. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll check back later. And yeah, I think that's it. So I will see you next week.